it's actually the hardest part of the process is to start over. So what I would recommend, know that at least commit to, 3 years minimum.
If you're a network marketer, then you know that staying motivated is crucial to having long-term success in this industry. So in today's episode, we're going to be giving you some of our best tips, tricks, and hacks to staying motivated for the long haul so that you can build the network marketing business of your dreams. So don't forget to smash that subscribe button and comment below and let us know what is it that keeps you motivated inside of your own business. So with that, I'm curious, what is it that keeps you all motivated in continuing day after day to grow your business?
So first of all, can you all relate that when we get started something brand new, we're so excited, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go and do this, and I'm going to do this. And then the week goes by, life happens, and you're like, I'm not really sure I want to do that, right? It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
So what is it that we do, and what is it you should be doing if you want to stay motivated? Because it's really, really important. And one of the things that stands out for me is to get back to, why did I start it in the first place, right? What was the reason? So a lot of times we actually start network marketing because we want just to make extra money, right? Extra $500, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is. That's what we think we need and want. But I actually later realized that it was something bigger. Although, yes, I would like to make more money. Who wouldn't? I realized that there was a bigger purpose behind why I even got started. And for also majority of people, I noticed it's very similar. We want to help other people. So I wanted to help other people, but we forget very often why we got started. So my first tip would be, get back to why you got started. Even if it was to make $500, right? Or $1,000 or $5 million, whatever it is, remember that reason. And it actually might change.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Like your reasoning, your purpose of starting the business is going to evolve and change as you do, right? But, let's talk about really like the beginners, right? Or the people who are just getting started, or maybe even people who have, they started and then, that excitement wears off, like you said. And I think that in between, like getting wins in your business and the results, because when you get started, you might have some, you're going to get some of those customers, right? From your friends and family or whatever. Yeah. You're going to get some people that come in. Then as quick as they come in, they're also going to disappear, right? And so it's like, you're never, and newsflash, you're never always going to be motivated in this business because it's day to day. Sometimes it's the grind, right? Or you're hearing all this like hustle your face off, but then it's like, man, I can only do this for so long. And then you get into a period where you have no results, right? So it's like, what are you doing in between so that you're waking up every day, continuing to like put your head down, do the work, to build the business. And so if you don't have that reminder of the reason you got started, that purpose, whatever it is that's driving you in the middle of this lull of not getting the results you want, it's not happening fast enough, reminding yourself, then you're going to hate what you're doing. You're going to quit your business, right? Because you're not going to be winning every single day. I mean, meaning you're not just going to start the business, it's going to blow up and you're just going to continue to go. I mean, this is actual stuff that even leaders that have big teams go through. And so if you can't bring yourself back to the feeling, right? And that's the whole reason of tapping back into the reason you got started, and tap back into that feeling, then you're not going to be motivated to want to get up, do the things, because you're not getting that result necessarily right away.
Right.
So, for me, my reason or my why, whatever it is, your purpose has evolved as my success has grown. So exactly right, Kat, is, you might get started with this reason, and then now it's like
a whole different reason.
Yes, but you have to have that burning desire and attach that emotion right? Because that's actually what's going to give you the energy to fuel you to be motivated to do all the things.
So to that point, I think that there's one thing that does end up keeping a lot of brand new network marketers stuck. When they first come in, they're taught, oh, you need to discover your why. And the phrase that is always said is your why needs to make you cry.
And
And
if it doesn't, you're never going to be successful.
And if it doesn't, you're not going to be successful, right? And I'm sorry, I don't know. I know so many people that their why did make them cry. Like they were sobbing and then they quit
they
the
still
next
quit.
day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's like, just like, don't like overthink
Overcomplicate
it
it.
or overcomplicate it, because for us first getting started, to Kat's point, she was like, some of us just wanted, a couple $100 extra dollars a
make me
month,
cry.
right?
I just didn't make me.
I just wanted the money.
I just wanted to go to the store and not have to look at how much money I was spending.
Right. Like I wanted,
I wanted to buy the lettuce that I wanted and not get the
Junky stuff.
I wanted name brand, like I wanted name brand Crisco.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to have to get the Western family
Or the
or
Great
whatever it was, But so like to that, in saying that, like sometimes when you first get started, it can be just that,
Yeah,
right?
just a simple.
It can be something simple, and to Adrian's point, it will evolve. And so what I like to think of it as, and what I noticed in my own journey, was in the beginning, that's what it was. And it was like, my purpose was, I want to be able to accomplish this thing. And once I accomplished that thing, it was like, okay, what's next? Almost like rungs of a ladder with my own purpose. And I would continue to reward myself with the said thing on that next rung of the ladder. And it just continued to go like this. And then, it grew from there. So don't overthink your purpose. Don't overthink your why. It doesn't have to make you cry. In the beginning, it's just get laser focused on whatever that result is that you want to see.
What is it that you want?
What is it that you want?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then have the realization that it is going to be up and down, right? In network marketing, and it is in any business.
Yeah. Yep.
It is in anything we do in life, right? It is up and down. You'll enroll somebody, right? You're like, wow, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like I made a commission and my team's growing, and then 2 days later they quit, and
There you
so
go.
you're like in the dirt, right? Like you're like, I hate my life. Like I don't ever want to do this again, right? So it's being able to like know that's what's coming, I guess, and manage your expectations, that it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Well,
but
and also
it's not
be aware that it's actually going to take discipline.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to take discipline to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's going to take discipline to make sure that you stay connected to your purpose, to keep your heart and your soul connected to, and remind yourself, that's what I want.
Even on the hard days.
On the hard days, because on the hard days, it's going to be much easier to go and sit and binge watch Netflix, than to do the actions that's going to keep growing up.
I have a great story about that.
Yes.
So first of all, I want to point out that it's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint. And we kind of like live in the microwave mentality. Oh, I joined today. Tomorrow I'm going to enroll 3 people. Next week I'm going to make my $500. And next month I'm making $5,000.
It's not Amazon Prime. It's not 2-day shipping.
I wish that was the reality, but a lot
I
of
still
people
don't get 2-day shipping with Amazon.
Especially live in the boonies.
I know.
that's what we want, but it's not the reality. So keep in mind, it's a marathon. And I see a lot of great network marketers, they just dabble in the industry. They get that first failure, like, oh, I'm going to go find something else. And what happens, you keep starting over and over and over, time after time. It's actually the hardest part of the process is to start over. So what I would recommend, know that at least commit to, 3 years minimum, right? To learn the skill sets, to fail all these times and learn all that you need to learn instead of starting over and go through the growing pains. So cut out the growing pains, stay in the game. So it's a marathon. And back to Fran's comment, and I wanted to share with you a great story about what is it that you do when you don't feel like doing it, right? Because there will be time where you will wake up.
absolutely.
And actually, we humans, we tend to hide when things don't go as we thought they will go, because you see a lot of hype in this industry, let's be honest, because not just in this industry, in general, people show on Instagram only the glitz and glamour, right? Oh, I'm at the beach, or oh, I'm on the first class airplane. And nobody shows that, the hard times, that the majority of the journey is actually, I posted a couple of days ago a picture of me literally pulling my hair out and I look like a vampire. We joke about it. But this is the real life, right? But so what do you do when you don't feel like doing it? So I'm going to advise you not to hide.
Yeah.
Because that's what we tend to do, right? Like, oh, I didn't make that rank or I didn't make that commission. Everyone going on incentive trip and I'm not. So we kind of like tend to pull back and to hide because we think like no one wants to hear that story. You will be surprised. So one day I had one of those being in the funk moments where like, I don't feel like doing anything. I want to just cry, go to my bed, crawl back, pull the covers on and don't show up anywhere, not on social media. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to show up and share the real story. Yeah. Oh my God, it brings tears to my eyes. And I literally went outside, took my phone, pushed the live button, and I start walking around. I have a beautiful lake next to my house, and I just start walking around the lake and just sharing my thoughts. Like today's the day when I don't feel like showing up. And I made an effort and I showed up and I share with you what actually it is to build a business, right, on social media.
Like the real life.
And I really didn't have any intention or anything. I was just trying to get out of the loop of my own loop of being in the funk. It's like maybe fresh air will get me out of it. So, and I finished the video. I never, it got like 3 views, like nothing ever, gonna happen. Like I didn't have any agenda or intention. I just wanted to get out of my funk. 2 years later, someone messaged me and said, Kat, I watched your video 2 years ago, what to do, what you don't feel like doing. And that kept me going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a goosebump moment. It was the chill moment. And I'm like, this is my why.
Yeah.
Who cares about $500? I want more people to say, because of you, I did not give up.
Yeah.
So that became my purpose, right? See, it evolves and it grows, but there will be moments when you feel like not doing it. So my biggest tip for you, don't hide.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because when you share that struggle, when you share the shitty times, okay,
That's when people can.
that is what people can relate to. That is, I think, oh, okay, what I'm going through is completely normal. Okay, they've just come back from from the conference, and they saw the leader get up on stage and just share how they've hit the top rank, and they haven't shared the 10 or 11 years that it took for them to get there. They haven't shared all the ugly bits. They haven't shared the struggles. They haven't shared the moments when they just where they were crying in the shower.
Yeah.
They didn't want their kids to see that they were struggling. They don't want them to, so they don't know. And when you can share the struggle, when you can share the real life.
I have a really good squirrel.
Really good squirrel moment.
A good squirrel.
The real moment while we were filming this.
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes ago, we all jumped out of the couch because there was a spider. So if you stay till the end, we'll ask our team to include that video.
Diving away from the spider.
That's the real life.
Fran just reminded me of this time where, I was all in. I was showing up and, I was visible every single day, doing videos and stuff. And then life happened and, my brother-in-law passed away and it was sudden. And it was 2 days before I was supposed to go on this mastermind. And,
I remember that.
yeah. And I was an emotional wreck. We've gone through loss before, but this was a totally different situation. With my nephews and just all the things, and I didn't know how I was going to show up on social media because I am oh, life is great, all the things, and they're going to expect me to show up and deliver some value because I had been being really good at being consistent, showing up, delivering value in my videos. And how am I going to pull myself together to deliver content? I can't give someone value right now. I
can barely keep it together.
And I I'm, I'm a stronger person but I could not stop crying for days. Right. And it was very hard. So what I did was I just went live and I showed up as the hot mess that I was. Yeah. I was bawling. I told everybody what was happening in my life, like so raw because it was so fresh. Mm-hmm. And I got so many people who actually were like, you're this human. Like you're
an actual person.
Yes.
Life actually happens to you.
People will thank you for
and I
that.
told them I was worried about like, what will people think if I still go to this business event when I just had this loss, while I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if I don't go, I'm going to get sucked into this grief and my business is going to suffer. Like, and I ended up going on having the best month after that of my life, after that event in my business at the time. But the fact that I went on, shared that, like to show people you can be human and you can share these things. And then, still like people were just totally like taken aback and they loved it even more. Right. Then they were more invested and continuing to follow me because I showed them that side of my life and I showed more of like who I was and that vulnerability,
So, and I want to kind of share, a story around that as well. So, first I'll preface it by saying there was a point in time where it was like I kept looking for motivation and kept looking for motivation. And Brandy and I had a mentor that actually sat us down and they're like, you keep looking for motivation. Why don't you start searching for inspiration? It's the difference between pushing
and pulling
and having something pull you. So when you constantly try to like find motivation,
get motivated,
and
I gotta get motivated.
It's like you're like trying to push your being into something. Whereas when you like flip it to what inspires you, it's like it becomes
from
easy.
within.
It comes from within.
Right.
And one thing that inspired me in our company that we were in a few years ago, one of the top distributors, their entire family got into a car accident. And I mean, it was an awful thing that happened. One of their daughters ended up like paralyzed. Yeah. Like it was awful, but they all came to that next company convention and even the kids like got up and they were like, this was my parents' why. So that, in the event that life happened, and I still get emotional thinking about it. They're like, in the event that life happened, because it's not a matter of if life is going to happen.
It's when.
It's when. Because they would be able to take care of each other, their family, the people that matter to them most. And he talked about, he's all like, they're coming and they're sitting down with like the hospital because it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in medical bills. And they're like, how much is it? And they're like, well, up until this point, it was like $600 and something thousand that they had racked up. And he's all like, let me write you a check. Mm-hmm. That like was powerful. So for me, that was like an inspiration that pulled me for years. And then it came full circle 2 years ago when my husband tried to die on me, right? Like he got the Delta variant with COVID. He's a young, really healthy guy, goes to the gym like 4 to 5 days a week. We didn't expect it, but life happened. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I didn't have it in me to go live, but it was very therapeutic for me to write. Mm-hmm. And so, every other day to every day when I had an update, it was healing for me. Mm-hmm. I'm a creator at heart. And it was like, if I can just help or bless one person like that family when they were going through their struggle, blessed me. And at the time, I didn't know if my husband was going to live, if he was going to die. I mean, it was 2 months.
Up in the air.
Up in the air. Yeah. I'm sobbing with my beaches in the background, right? But it was that inspiration of being able to help even just one person through it. Like that family helped me in their time of need. That pulled me, right? And to make it go full circle, I had literally thousands of people that were surrounding me in love and like reaching out to me, and people that were like, we had no idea you were going through this. Like I'm going through this with my dad. I'm going through this with my mom. And it was a really, even though it was a hard and a rough patch and it turned out great for us, it also was like when I felt the most connected to my sense of purpose in the world, and where I felt like I was giving back, like because it was pure love for others in my writing.
Yep. Yeah, I think finding that inspiration for a lot of people is hard too, because it's some of the hardest work you'll do. Like you have to like force yourself to think about it. And we don't think about a lot of things anymore, right? It's kind of like we're just on this autopilot, right?
Yeah.
But diving into that, like what inspires you, it might take some time. It's not just something that you can, oh, what inspires me is X, Y, and Z, right? It's something you have to think through. Maybe, write it down on paper and, think about it for a few days and take the time to think about it. I know for me, that's the stuff I hate doing because I don't want to, I don't want to dive into that deep emotion stuff, but that's what moves people, right? So you think about, in your situation or Carrie's situation, or Kat's situation with all of it, it's that human to human connection that really makes it work, right? Because they want to know we're normal people. So
I have one last tip before we wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, continue. Let's continue.
It helps us. It helped a lot of people. And we kind of think it's so insignificant and we ignore this. Celebrating small wins.
yeah.
Yes.
Because we all wait for that big, rank or big check or whatever. And we totally ignore the little steps that get us there. And it's actually so crucial to look at how far you have come instead of looking where you're not there yet.
Yeah.
How come you're not there yet, right?
And how far you've come or looking at, all the things isn't about the dollar amount in your bank account, right?
No.
So
It's about the skill sets, right? And also other people that you impacted along the way. So get into the habit celebrating of those small wins. So look back and ask yourself, am I better today at creating a curiosity post or whatever that might be? Am I better today at communicating with people and building relationships, right? And you'll find yourself saying, yes, I am. Because if you're doing it, you are getting better, even though sometimes it's little things. Those little things that actually move the needle, and train yourself to have those things motivate you rather than the shiny objects that are still far away. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. So with that, if you are interested in joining our community of over 10,000 network marketers, where you can learn how to grow and scale your business online using social media and automation, don't forget to click the link below this video where you can go and you can join our community of over 10,000 marketers and download our free social influencer formula that will help you grow and scale your business online using social media. Are you a network marketer that's not a question, keeping a lot of network marketers cider? I didn't even know how big it was. I just knew she said spider. I didn't even see it. I just screamed.